are back over here with our Defiant 4 here on Finale Friday. Finally, Finale Friday. And it's like bittersweet because I love playing with all these people, but we still have much more story to tell. And so I'm not super sad about it. We still have a whole few hours ahead of us. And we're so glad that you could join us too. So let's go around. First of all, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and you can help support Encounter Roleplay and know when we're putting out new videos all the time. If this is your first week with us, you can go back on YouTube and watch all the episodes up till this point. But let's introduce our players here. So everyone, we're going to go around. Don't forget to share your pronouns. My name's Doc Rimbo. I'm your GM. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. And I am a human being. I'm the only human being in the cast because I just sit here in the middle and decide what everybody does. But let's go around the circle. Let's start with our friend Val. And Val, tell us about your character, who he is, what he do, all that.
Hey y'all, my name is Val Dragant on the internet. I play Miles. He is a angel in this world. He collects children and soundtracks with the Goo Goo Dolls on them.
Which is
That's
now here's what I've been wondering all season, Val. Is that a characteristic of a divine angelic being, or just anybody can collect Goo Goo Dolls catalog?
You know what? I would say that anyone that collects the Goo Goo Dolls catalog is a divine being in my heart. So
there you go. There you go. I love Miles. All right, let's go down below and we'll talk to Hall. Hey, Bubbly Cream Soda. Hall, how are you, my friend? And tell us about Ruben. What do people need to know about him?
I'm doing well. Ruben is an infernal executioner, and for this finale, he will be ascending because he's successfully fulfilled the endeavor that he started at the beginning of this series. He has finally finished the train. He has climbed to the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and he's just checking out. No, he will be trying his best to help everyone else in their endeavors as well.
He's just got senioritis. He's just here
yeah.
on a technicality because he got his choo-choos.
I'm done. Winter break, everyone. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
That's fantastic. I'll be curious to see how that influences Ruben's choices. Let's jump over and we'll talk to Mama Cadence. Cadence, how are you?
I am still alive.
Yay!
Yay! Yes, I am Cadence, also known sometimes as Mama, they, them, but she, her also works. I am playing Visar, a Leviathan, a sort of a dragon-y type. And yeah, I've lately been working on fixing up my little dance club and trying to make my poor, sad husband happy. And also,
poor Lucian.
Maybe playing matchmaker. We'll see.
We will see how that goes. And that will come to a head, I'm sure, in just a little bit. But finally, let's go up and we'll see With a Brick. Hi, Ray. How are you? How's it going?
Hi. I'm doing well. Yes, my name is Ray, or With a Brick. Today I play Mon Murray, who is the diva of the group. She's trying to make a speakeasy for married people. And that's been kind of her shtick. And apparently being some sort of voice for the group in doing dealings. So it's been a really fun time, and I'm really excited to see everything come to fruition and what ends up happening today.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I am just as interested as all of you and all of you folks watching to see how this whole thing ends. So in case you're just catching up or this is your first episode that you're watching, we are existing in a time in the not too distant future when the apocalypse has kicked into motion. And all over the world, forces like angels and monsters and avatar gods, and all of these people came together to do the apocalypse, but some of them rejected that. They wanted to live as humans instead. And so they created these safe havens, and they live amongst other people. So here in our group, we have all of them. We have Miles the Angel. We have Reuben the Infernal, an escapee of hell. We have Montmirail, who is a deva with a bat energy living inside her, who drives a hearse. And we have Visar, the draconic Leviathan beast, all of whom sort of living and in revelry. So a few months ago, I guess now, in game, the whole crew was approached by two sides of an ongoing tension. In charge of their territory, in charge of their region in the world, they have a princessa named Amathea Zeruel, and she was widowed a few years back and has been sort of plunged into this deep situational depression. And so there are two people, it seems, not people, two individuals fighting over her influence as to how to get her to rule over the city. One of whom is her first ward, a woman named Ariviel, who is an angel. And Ariviel is trying to get her to marry the son of the princeps of a different territory to sort of start a bit of a political connection there between the two places. Now, the other person who would rather have her just sort of retire is her son, Velatron. Now, these are all names that are going to go right over your heads, but just try to hang on for all this stuff, okay? Last time, our group came back from a party in a different province, came back together, and were approached by Velatron, who asked them not to deliver this gift to the Princessa, but to consider maybe letting him take the reins and influence her by presenting the gift to her himself. So they talked it over. A week later, they go to this fancy party at the Princessa's art museum where she has her holding. And they all arrived and met with Velatron and decided, okay, we'll let him do the delivery. And so they gave the gift to him. What followed was the most uncomfortable dinner party in the world, because everyone, being so respectful of the Princessa's quiet, withdrawn demeanor, sat there in complete silence for hours eating swordfish. Who knows what else they had to eat, but they all just sort of sat there, just sort of in uncomfortable silence for a long time. They were confronted by Ariviel, who expressed displeasure at their siding with Velatron, and then abruptly left as Velatron gave the gift to his mother. And so, a few days have passed since this has happened. There are rumors flying all over the place, one of which is, in immediate reaction to being presented with the gift, Princessa Amathea was not thrilled or even pleased, but sort of descended into an even worse depressive state. She has basically, I mean, she's lost the will to go on, basically, and has since then locked herself in her room most of the time, as opposed to going out into the court, so even more withdrawn than she was before. Soon after this, the laws in the region begin to change again. They retract the law that says that lords and ladies can't be seen in public with their spouses, but they add the stipulation that if you're going to be married, it has to be at least a 3-person polycule to your marriage. And so everyone within the course of a month or so is required to find an additional spouse to add to your marriage. And now that in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing for most of the people living here, but it has caused some stress and some tension, because you are in political relationships, but you have this question going around, who would be the third person? And so what I'd like to do now is, as we start today, let's go around again, the circle, and we're going to have each person sort of remind us who your spouse is, who your partner is, and then what's it been like to talk with them about this idea of adding a third party to your marriage? Let's do it in reverse order. Let's start with Montmirail, back at Club Sinister, with your wife Iulia.
Yes. Iulia is of House Hadad, which is Storm Leviathan. So she is also a Leviathan. She's not happy, and I'm not happy, flat out, about this new law. She's very level-headed and very, like, tries to keep to the cusp of things, but I am very much, like, in love with her, head over heels, and would do anything for her. So her trying to console me is just me getting upset and angry that people are being forced to do things they don't want to do.
Maybe it's less about. I mean, it's less about the prospect of polyamory or an open marriage, and more about like it feels a little bit heavy-handed. And
yes,
yeah. See that? Okay. Now, here's the other thing I want to know: with the change in the laws, does the marriage speakeasy carry forward?
Oh yeah, especially now. Especially now. We're gung ho on this interesting journey. I am not stopping now.
Fists up, fight the power. We're gonna have a marriage speakeasy.
Fight the power with love.
What about Visar and Lucian? Have you two talked about this? And what's the general mood in your holding?
Yeah, we've talked about it briefly. But Lucian, who is an infernal from the House of Joy and just loves partying and having fun, and he thinks that having a third wheel, as he actually did put it, would just make things less fun, because then you have to have more to worry about. And it's like, yeah, you don't need none of that.
It's almost like more work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. How about Reuben and Caleb? How are they handling this, and what's their immediate reaction to that new law?
So Caleb is an angel from House Hariel, and Reuben and Caleb are both not happy that enforcing polyamory has become a law. You know, if it's someone's thing, it's someone's thing, but it shouldn't have to be everyone's thing if they don't want it to be. And also, like, a month is such short notice to find someone else to bring into. Like, it's a lot of commitment to try and bring another third into that relationship. And I think it's back and forth between, like, is this a good idea? And also, like, who would that third person be? So it sort of, like, goes flip-flopping between thinking about the social repercussions and then also actually considering, like, engaging in it.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider here. And Reuben and Caleb, I mean, all of you have different relationships. Reuben and Caleb, you're very much in love, and you went against your family to marry each other. Yeah. So it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet thing happening there. So to add a third, but that doesn't work. It's not Romeo and Juliet and Maurice, right? Okay, maybe it is. It depends.
Poor Maurice.
Poor Maurice. I'm sorry, Maurice. Okay, how about
Miles?
And also, I'm here. Miles, how's Miles handling this?
Exceptionally well, actually, because it is not a very well-known fact, but Miles has been in an open marriage for a while because Miles is asexual and his wife isn't. So he's always just sort of let her have somebody, consented to third wheels all the time. So this is actually kind of not bad news for them, because it's like, oh, like, your devil boyfriend can now be our devil husband. It's fine. Like, we are fine now. And it's it's just sort of like, it's already something that was being participated in his relationship. So it's like, yeah, like, okay, cool. Like, this is actually pretty easy. Do you want me to play in the wedding? Like, should I get the band together? Kind of thing. What's the thruple song? Like,
I love Miles. I love Miles. He's such okay. So here within this small
yeah.
sample, I think that's a pretty representative reaction to this rule. So there are some folks who are like, "Yeah, great, like that sounds good," and they move forward as planned. Other folks who are more along the lines of like, "I don't have a problem specifically with this, but it feels like we're being forced into it," and then other people who are just against it entirely. And that's the sort of temperature as you hear from friends around your district, as you talk to other lords and ladies, and even their courts about the reaction to this. I think all of you can't help but notice that some of your courtiers they're just trying a little extra hard, you know what I mean, with the possible idea of maybe they're going to be included in that relationship. And it makes things a little awkward for some of you around your courts. A few days later, after all of this falls out, all of you get a text message. And we talked about this last week. You all get this anonymous text message. There's a blocked number, so you don't know who it's from. And the gist of this message is, I hope you're happy. Who do you think is making all of these laws, and who stands to benefit? And you're left to mill over that for a little while. The next day, a new rumor starts circulating, which is that the first ward, or reveal, is missing. She disappeared in the night. Nobody saw her drive away, and there are rumors she left by train. And nobody seems to know where she went. And so Velatron is promoted to the position of acting first ward, the one who is basically governor and makes all of the decisions in the place of his mother, who is hiding away in her room all day long. So we're going to take another look. We're going to look into your courts, and we're going to talk about your personal challenges. So every session you have an opportunity to address things within your court. You could work on your endeavors. You could, oh gosh, what else? You could work on your houses themselves. You could work within your holdings. You could increase your standing in the community. So let's go around. We'll go same order here. I'd love to hear what you've been doing, and once in a while we might have a little scene with somebody who's important. So go ahead and think about this, and we'll start again with Monmaray. Monmaray, how have you been spending your time since the awkward dinner party?
I think I have been more adamant now about finishing the rest of doing the marriage speakeasy. So I've been working on that endeavor.
Nice.
Predominantly, getting my whole house to include in on that.
And remind me, on your endeavor tracker, so you have a bunch of boxes. This was, I think, was a medium-ish endeavor. How far along are you?
I am, let me just double check. I am 2 of 7. I have 2 down out of 7, so I need 5 more steps.
Excellent. Okay, so you can spend the time getting 3 steps forward. So you can add 3 to that. You're still too short. What I'd love to know is what's missing. Like, what's the last tiny bit to finish this, and ideally, how would it play out?
She's missing the actual, like, the room is set, it's soundproof, it's designed well, everything like that. She's missing or cannot figure out how it should be hidden and accessed. So, like, the predominant part of where people come in and out of it, she's having a hard time deciding what it's going to be and what it's going to look like.
Excellent. So we hit our first sub goal. So what I'll say is, just to move that endeavor forward to its conclusion, Iulia comes home one day, and she's all excited because she was out. We'll say that as one of her hobbies, she likes to like go, not antiquing, but she likes to go to like secondhand stores and like flea markets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she found this enormous like wine rack cabinet thing, and like got it at a steal, and she brings it home, and it's the perfect fit for the entrance, and so it could easily be tweaked into a place where like you pull one of the bottles of wine out, and it's a secret door, like all of us have always wanted in our houses ever since we were little kids, right? Absolutely. And so she comes home, and they move it in, and the marriage speakeasy is complete. And how would y'all celebrate this achievement, when it's finished?
I think it would be a very small gathering, personally invited, and like kind of shown the ropes of how it's gonna go. And it would be just like everybody here would get invited with their spouse or whoever they wanted to bring, with no judgment, and no worry about needing to bring excess parties just because of the law says so. So it would be a small gathering.
It'd be a rebellious
Yes.
marriage gathering. Yeah, really good. Yep. And so all of you are invited, but let's check in and see what everybody else is doing. Visar, how are you spending those few days since the dinner party?
I am continuing to work on the dance hall to get it looking right, because Lucian and my court did try, but there was a lot of conflicting things, and it just made him very upset and sad and miserable. So I worked on making it look cohesive and beautiful and fun, and to not only make it a much better place to have fun in, but to make Lucian happy.
And we'll see how happy he is about it, but I think that, yeah, you are successful in getting it renovated to that point where it can take on those adjectives, and your holding becomes a place in a time of coldness and just sort of heavy-handed like influence from the people above you in this social status. It feels like a place of freedom and of like fun and happiness. And so you have that as well. And then as you're wondering how Lucian feels with his new mood, you get this invitation to Montmoret's speakeasy. And so you have that to consider. So let's go over to Ruben. Ruben, how are you spending this time? You've got a train line up and running, which is no small achievement. You're a conductor, Ruben, now.
That I am, and I am so excited for it. Oh God, what is Ruben doing? I think Ruben is mostly just like, after planning out where the stations are going to be set up, he's mostly just been relaxing in his own home because he has been on this endeavor since day one that he's been assigned out here, and now that he's got it up and running, this is just time to not worry about it so much.
Excellent. So, here's what we'll say is, as sort of a mechanical aspect of it, because of this achievement that you're celebrating by relaxing and taking some time off, your house standing increases by 3. So you can track that on your sheet, but basically you've made your name proud. And so other people see your house not only as, oh, that House of Infernals, but as a group of people who care about infrastructure for as much as that's important to someone. But you get respect a little bit more often wherever you go. And of course, you also get this invitation to Club Sinister, along with Caleb. Miles. I'm sorry, Val. Are you eating? Val.
It's okay.
Miles,
I'm timing it perfectly.
You're a professional. I know you're a professional. So you are having a few days as well to do whatever you'd like. You could work on your holding. You could work on your endeavors. You could work on tracking down that soundtrack. What is Miles doing with that time?
Miles is going to, how do I word this? He is going to give his rat child an assignment, essentially, seeing that Royce enjoys a little underground fighting. Miles would like to task Royce to create a not underground educational wrestling team or league for the university.
Gotcha. Interesting. So this would be like
he wants to support his kid in a safe space.
Yeah. Supervised. Right. Safe. Okay. I like that a lot. So we're going to say that this is a pretty easy endeavor for him just to start something like this, and you can automatically just sort of start it and click it off, because it would be a 3-step endeavor basically for Royce to be able to set up this wrestling club and sort of take charge of it. And I'll also say that he looks pretty happy about this. He sort of blows off steam. He can, he can be his ratty self. And it's
invite
very
all of his friends. Now people can get I don't know, grants or something to come study on, wrestling.
Of course, yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
That sounds great. And of course, you and your partner get invited as well. And so that night, everybody is, their presence is requested at Club Sinister. Who is there? Is anyone not going? Does anyone turn Monterey down? No. Girlfriends, no. Why would you? So, you all enter, and I think, Monterey, would you invite their courts as well? Their courtiers?
Yeah, whoever wanted to come along, whoever could be trusted. That would probably be explicitly in the personal invite, was only bring those who can be trusted.
Okay. So you come in, trustworthy courtiers in tow, back into Club Sinister with its small stage, its dusky atmosphere, and a brand new old wine rack cabinet up against the wall in place, and Monterey is there to greet you as you enter. Who would be the first to arrive?
Miles arrives alone.
Okay.
But in his typical, he is not wearing a shirt, but he is still wearing the fur coat and leather pants. A little bit
Walks
more
in.
comfortable. Mm-hmm.
Looks at home, but
Saunters.
is by himself. Monterey.
Yeah, he's by himself. Hey.
Some of Monterey's court come and offer to take your fur coat from you.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it on. It's chilly here.
And they say, are you sure it's not that cold?
I mean, are you sure? Why? And I close it back.
They look confused. They say, "Oh, okay,
Exactly.
right.
And I'm gonna just this is my it's a statement piece, and it always has to make a statement. So it has to always stay on me.
I see. I see, my lord. Okay. All right, and let you go off with your coat to mingle, to party, to be Miles. Who arrives
He's
next of the four? Oh yeah. Assumed.
I will.
Okay.
Me, Lucian, my court.
The whole gang.
Of course.
Okay. And do you see your friend Montmoret just sort of holding dominion over her club as you arrive?
You've done wonders with this place. Looks good.
I've tried. I appreciate it. Put a lot of hard work into it, so figure why not celebrate?
Would Monterey have shared the details of this secret back room with the rest of this immediate party here?
Yes, I think like every so often, like especially because we had that whole scene where she was like, you know what I'm trying to do. I want to create a secret room in my holding, like I'm gonna need your help sort of thing. So since then I feel like it's just been something that she's just kind of like, everyone's known when they come to the holding that there's like construction work being done basically. Just like, please don't mind the mess.
And then Reuben and Caleb come last. Do you bring courtiers with you, Reuben?
I offer the invitation. I feel like only a few of them arrive, and some of them just, like, social engagements aren't their thing, so some decide to hang back, but...
Okay. So you give them the option.
Yeah.
That's thoughtful of you. And you and Caleb get there, fine, just right on, you're not late. You're just sort of right on time and see the rest. Now, it's only been a day or so since you got that anonymous text message. Does it come up in the course of conversation?
I think it was... I think it was, like, the topic...
Oh no, go ahead. I had
Oh,
a clarifying
okay.
question.
Sorry.
I had a clarifying question.
I think between Ruben and Caleb, it was the topic of conversation, and it probably was up until they finally arrived at the club, because now they are in public around other people, so now's the time to socialize and not to have, more intimate conversation on that.
Gotcha. Ray, what was your question?
You said it was a day or so since we got the text messages about
It was I think maybe 2 days. About the laws and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. What else do y'all talk about? How does this party proceed? What's the general mood? What's the entertainment like? How's the food?
So once everyone gets there, I think she kind of like takes everyone all at once to the wine wall, and I was thinking about like how it would look, and they're like little like cylindrical kind of like tubes that the wine goes into. So there's one specifically that you see her kind of reach into, and it's enough that her hand can kind of get into, and you see her twist the bottle instead of pull it out, and it's just a twist, and then it starts to like shift over. And like she's just like very casual about it, but like obviously there's some sort of grandiose that she's trying to present to the scene and be like super
Right,
chill
right.
about it.
Whereas if it
but
was me,
inside,
I'd be like, huh? Huh?
yeah. She's just like looks back a little bit and just like gives the glare of like, hello, this is very cool. Acknowledge the coolness of this moment. But she lets everyone inside. It's almost even more dimly lit than the entire rest of the club usually is. There's no stage. It is a open floor plan with a very small kind of cocktail bar in the corner where there is one person working it and there only is a select menu. But it's mostly these very small, quaint, like 3 to 4 people tables with a couple that are just like 2-person tables around it. And it's just all like very simple but very elegant. It's just a place for them to mingle and not really have to worry about who's around.
Excellent. All of you take this in and sit and pass the night talking with one another. Is there anything you want to talk about before you move on?
I think at some point in the evening, I would gather us all around kind of like the opposite part of the room where nobody really is at the moment, and show them the text message that I got on my phone and just be like, did anybody else receive something like this?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So did we help the person who is the cause of all this? Is that I think that is what just happened.
Yeah, I believe so.
So what is our plan now? Because it looks like we are sided with somebody who is causing all of the grief in the first place.
I want to see the Princessa. I just want to go straight to the top. I think that's going to be the answer. That's what we have to do.
Okay. I mean, do you have a way of getting in?
No.
Hey.
Yeah, that's the problem. How? She's
Ruben.
never seen anywhere.
Well, the new train station, transportation, maybe you can request a meeting with her about transportation regulations, something lawful that could get you a meeting with her and now her first ward in charge, which is Velatron, so he'll be there, but maybe we can all go under that guise, and Visar, you can kind of take over from there when you need. It'll get us in the door.
A grand opening
That is-
celebration. Yes. We can invite her to cut the ribbon.
I mean, have you planned a grand opening event yet, Ruben?
Not as of yet, but I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it either way.
Okay. What do you plan to talk to her about? Is that, I mean, if you need to get her away in a location to talk to her privately, that might be difficult at a social event. Which is why
That is true. Yeah.
maybe having a meeting might be a tiny bit better, but the ribbon idea is good. We should hold on to that.
We can always just sneak it to her house. Or not even sneak. You just go to her house. You just go there, like knock on the door
Well-
and be like, "Hey, I was in town. Do you wanna hang out?" Like, is no one, like, she is depressed and alone, and I think she would appreciate it if someone was just like, "Hey, I was in the neighborhood. I brought a tin of Dutch cookies. It's not a sewing kit. It's actually cookies. Figured we could hang out or something, like play chess."
We can try that.
Yeah,
That might be the most direct way to do it. And if they tell us no,
yeah. The worst
then
that
we
can happen
can
is
try
they
to
tell
go
us
a
no.
diplomatic approach, I assume.
Yeah.
Do you know where to get Dutch cookies? Those are vital to this plan now.
Probably the same place I got the monster job is at. They're at drugstores, big box stores. Probably, I'm sure there's somebody that just makes them. Like, there's a granny somewhere out there. Just remember to get the Dutch cookie tin and not the sewing kit tin. But you just, like, there's a bakery, I'm sure, in town. We could just order a tin of cookies.
Miles, I don't think they sell sewing kits in the Dutch cookies tins themselves.
Well,
I think the
it's a joke, right? Like, it's kind of like, like bad tasting jelly beans. It's like you just pick one and you open it. It's a sewing kit and not cookies. Like, we have
Like
so we
those
have to
cans
buy
of
like
peanut-
5 of them to make sure that they're actually cookies.
like those cans of peanuts with the snakes that pop out of them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So here's what I'll say. I think we're at 16 retweets. At 20 retweets, we'll get the box of Dutch cookies. If we don't get 20 retweets, it'll be a sewing kit.
Choose your fate
So-
wisely, chat. Choose your fate
Okay, we just need
wisely.
4 more friends and family to retweet so we can have imaginary cookies.
Oh,
Val, did you see what I have right next on my desk?
Thank you. I love it.
I was just thinking about the tin I have over in my sewing shelves that is full of sewing
y'all. People. There are 2 types of people.
Yep.
And also, like, who doesn't want a little metal container to keep stuff in? That's
Exactly.
just useful.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, you have these ideas thrown around. What do you decide on as a group? What's the plan going forward? I like where this is going, but what happens next?
Are
I
we
think
sold on the cookie idea?
we can go visit her with the cookies and such, but also bring along an invitation to a grand opening with a personal, quiet tour for the Princessa of the train station.
That is a wonderful idea.
Yeah, there you go. See, this is why we're a team. We just shoot the shit, and people build off of that, and we can just make an actual plan. I am so happy that we're capable of. I am proud of us.
And so, when do you decide to do this? What's your time frame here?
That's up to Ruben. I think for the grand opening, whenever you can have that sort of done and processed, I will absolutely help.
Yeah, sooner is better than later, because who knows where the ward is.
I mean, yeah. If if all three of you want to stop by so you can get a lay of the land just in case, and pretty much help me set everything up, plan everything out, and we can get it ready as soon as next week if and all goes well.
Okay.
You're about smoking fair.
You should invite my son's wrestling team.
Your son's wrestling team
Yes.
to a trained ceremony opening.
Yes. You're sponsoring them.
I'm. Was I? When did I agree to this?
Just now? You're not really sponsoring them. It's just like, it's supposed to. I mean, you could if you want to. It's just to kind of like make it not look like a trap for her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that.
See?
Yeah, sure. You know what? I'll agree to that, and we can talk further details if we want to make that sponsorship actually happen. How good are they?
God damn it, I saw sponsored by Reuben's Choo Choo. I don't make me pee on myself from laughing. I'm sorry, Ruben. What were you saying?
Oh god, what was I saying? Come choo choo on these Danish butter cookies.
What? No!
That's the energy of this. That's the energy of the finale.
Special thanks to my friend Tom Grant. TP Grant, Tom, thank you for that donation, giving me a bane, which I'll act at some point.
It's probably going to be a sewing kit. Thanks.
It might be. I mean, that's a pretty bad one. Of all the horrible banes you could get.
Oh god. There are some pretty horrible things received in the past few minutes anyway. I said I'll agree to the pretend sponsorship, and we'll talk out a real sponsorship depending on if the team is any good or not.
Okay. I mean, you saw him wrestle the other day. He won.
Yeah, that's true. He did. Well, he won. I don't know if the rest of this team is just as good.
Well, trust
So,
in my son, friends.
Plans are in motion for the grand opening ceremony of Barak Shemesh Grand Central Station, named after Ruben's mentor in a bit of a bargain that happened earlier in the season. And next few days, I mean, you call on people for help. They're getting the whole thing together. Just sort of tidying up, making sure everything's presentable going forward. Now, there's still the question of inviting the Princessa to this event and how you want to accomplish that. I mean, we can assume that somewhere Miles is on his epic quest to find Danish butter cookies in a metal tin, and that's where Miles is. That's where Val went, is to find the cookies. But you do need to invite the Princessa, and so how do you decide to do that part of the deal?
I think the easiest part would probably be because a while back I remember asking to get sort of protection from Princessa's son, or at the very least from like local security, so I probably have some like minor connection through there to ask if they would be interested in attending an official opening ceremony for the station, since we know that the train runs pretty smoothly now.
Yeah. So you reach out to Velatron. You did have that conversation earlier that he would make sure that you have the protection you need as her champion, and now as her first ward, it becomes even easier for him to make sure that at the opening, and maybe even going forward, there's some sort of security in place. It benefits the whole region for this thing to run successfully, as with all public transport. So, you set that up, and he agrees to come. I'd like a roll from you, just because we haven't done any rolls yet. I'd like to see if you can talk him into the idea of bringing the Princessa along.
Hey.
So you're at a phone call with Velatron. Velatron's one of those people who, whenever you're on the phone with him, he takes other calls like 3 or 4 times, and leaves you on hold.
Got it. In that case, for my traits for this, I'm going to go with trustworthy to be convincing whenever he does get to speaking with me. Strong will to be put on hold for like 20 minutes at a time, listening to that sweet, sweet phone music. Which I'm hoping is a good track on there.
That's not the boon. It could be the boon. Is the track? It's really bad.
The Bane.
But no.
The Bane. Oh god. Probably.
It's Mambo number 5 as elevator music. That's the Bane. Just kidding. That's not the Bane. Just kidding. Go ahead.
At least give me the girl from Ipanema. I can do with the girl from Ipanema as an elevator. Oh no. Probably politics and unmoved by intimidation. So that's how many is that? 5?
Yeah, I like that. Given the current situation and given the current difficulty, I'm going to modify that. I'm going to take one of those away just because the Princessa is in such a deep funk, is in such a bad place, that it makes it all the more difficult. So you get 3, I'm going to say. It's that much harder. So roll 3d8, and if you're not familiar with the system, we're looking for 5s or 6s. And each one of them is an increasing amount of success.
All right. Well, that first one is an 8.
Nice.
That's another 8.
Nice.
That's a 7.
Wow. Okay. So you fully convince Velatron to speak to the Princessa and convince her to come to this grand opening of the train station. And all the other things coming off that roll go according to plan in terms of getting this place up functional. It not only feels nice, it feels like an actual functioning public transport station. Now, is this is for everybody, right? It's not just for Defiant. Would you invite, would humans be allowed to use this too?
Oh, absolutely. It's open to the public, highborn, lowborn. Whoever wants to make use of it can and should make use of it.
Okay, awesome. And so not only that, but your newly reinvigorated public advertisement push, your PR stuff is great. And so word is spreading around about this new train station opening up, and that helps convince the Princessa to attend. The day approaches, and here comes the Bane. Thank you, Tom, for this. Which is that all of you are gathered at Barak Shemesh Grand Central Terminal to celebrate the opening. There's a big ribbon stretched across the thing. People remembered the giant pair of scissors. And Miles has a tin of Danish butter cookies. So everything's going according to plan. And you expect, what time would you expect the Velatron and the Princessa there? Just pick a time for me.
Yeah, probably, let's say 9 a.m., 9:30, just so we can get the ball rolling early morning, because we have the rest of the day to work still. Yeah, we got transit.
Okay, you got right, you got transit to do. And so it's 8:30, and that's about the time you start to worry just a little bit. And then 8:45, and then 9 comes and goes. people start looking around. 9:15, and then 9:30, and all of you again get a group text. And this one is from Velatron, and he says, "I need all of you at the museum. We have a problem." And all of your phones buzz in unison because you keep them on silent, because you might be supernatural beings, but you're not monsters. And so all of your phones buzz in unison, and you all sort of look at each other.
Nope, mine's not on silent.
Okay, what is your ringtone, Miles?
It's the Goo Goo Dolls. Like, I don't
Okay,
want
great. Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
and I don't want the world to see me. So I just don't think
yeah.
that they'd understand. Like, it's
Right.
spoken word version of the song. That is his ring. That is his ringtone.
So what you hear is buzz, 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 and I don't want the world to see me. And Miles's phone starts blowing up. Everybody looks in Miles's direction, and you all sort of read the texts and make eye contact with one another. What comes next? What happens?
Should
That
I
can't be good.
call the hearse? Should we leave?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And
I'll
the four of you
someone-
start huddling out. Yeah, what's that, Ruben? Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll have someone on my court to present the cutting of the ribbon.
Okay, who?
Oh God, who is going to be the most obnoxious about wanting to cut it? Probably Marcelo. He would probably
Okay.
actually shove someone to get to cut the ribbon.
Yeah, nice. I like it. Marcelo. What's Marcelo's full name? Because I love his full name.
Marcelo's full name is Marcelo Cuarto. God, I really picked a horrible full name to pronounce.
His second last name is the best one. Because
Yeah.
is it Tubongbangwa?
Tubongbangwa.
Something like
yeah. Cariño, and this is the last one.
Great. So he makes a big show of taking the giant scissors and gets ready to do that as you all are sort of hustling out the door. Although the general mood in the room is one of disquiet as to where's the princessa, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And Monterey's hearse come limousine pulls up in front and has room for everyone to climb in. All four of you. Is anybody else coming? There's room for a few more in the car.
Yeah, you're all welcome.
Cookies? Okay.
Gotta get the tin of
Everybody
cookies
gets in.
Just,
Yeah. Still got it. And you all
It's still cooking.
make your way across the city. Monterey tells her driver to floor it, and you pull up to the same place where you had that awkward dinner party, the New Zawara Museum of Art, with its big marble steps, wide steps, big columns. And as opposed to last time when there was a big sort of lavish red carpet vibe with everyone going up by evening, you're here first thing in the morning, and the street in front is lined with black SUVs. The block in front of the museum has what appear to be sort of the Defiant equivalent of police officers in riot gear. And they're all keeping a distance from the building itself. But you see Velatron down near the street, between the cars, the closed-off street, pacing, walking back and forth as you pull up.
Is anybody else worried about that?
It's a little disconcerting, yes.
I should have brought more tins.
Cookies soothe the savage beast.
I mean, have you ever been angry about receiving cookies?
You have a point.
Velatron sees you approach. Velatron walks up to the car, strides up. He's on his phone, as always. This large mountain of a man standing there and waits for you to emerge. And as you all get out, he says, something's going on inside, and we're going to need your help. I've only been here a short while. I called you right away, but I'm getting mixed reports about what's actually happening inside the building. All I know is that my mother is in there, and she's being held captive. Someone has the building on lockdown.
And you know, I have no idea who is holding her captive.
Well, it's when I got here, I asked, and the first answer I got was that it was me. Which, of course, doesn't make sense. So I'm hoping the four of you can maybe find one of the people in charge, get some answers. I'm a bit overwhelmed at the moment. I'm trying to contact other security forces, but see what you can find out and report back.
Okay, we can do our best.
Right?
So there are basically National Guard walking up and down the steps. There appear to be some of them barking orders, and yeah, there are a few people who are kind of close to the door, but it feels like a hostage situation, so they're not exactly breaching or running in. And those SUVs,
All
the
right.
black SUVs, there are people inside. They're still seated in there.
I have an idea. Just have an
Yes.
idea. And Miles is going to put some sunglasses on and some headphones in his ear and start playing music. And he is just gonna start walking to the front door.
Okay. Miles starts making his way up the steps.
I
Yeah.
would like to follow.
Yes.
Two things. I would like to spend a shard to ask a question.
Okay.
And then I also have a special rule that works in this situation. So my special rule is that you can't be registered by any camera, alarm, or other electronic or mystical device unless you choose to.
That is
So-
great.
That is part of the shadow theme. And my shard for my question is also from the shadow theme, and my question is, what here is not what it seems?
Excellent. I like that. So everyone has 5 shards to start with, unlock these special abilities. And so Miles starts making his way up, holding the tin of cookies, with sunglasses on, headphones on.
My plan, Miles's plan, is to pretend he does not notice that anything is going on, and thus walking in, becoming a hostage himself so that he can assess the situation.
Nice.
Like, have you
So
guys
you're
ever
trying to
seen
volunteer.
Trigun?
No,
Think about that
but I get where you're
scene.
going.
Okay. Yeah, just like kind of got his sunglasses on. He is jamming to his music, hears nothing, sees nothing, and is just gonna hostage himself in there.
Excellent. And so you start strolling up the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Monterey follows close behind. Ruben and Vassar, are you watching?
I'm going to edge closer, but not too close, if that makes sense. Ready to, like, run up the stairs and in if needed.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm also just gonna stand with Vassar and watch and wait.
Okay. So I picture this playing out this way. Miles starts making his way, super cash, up the steps.
Yes.
And Montmoret is almost floating behind him, just sort of moving very quietly and softly just behind him. Ruben and Vassar, as you watch, you can see that over the entrance there are several security cameras, and they are. I mean, you can see the way they're pointing, and as Miles gets closer, they all sort of turn to look at Miles in unison, and Montmoret just keeps on going. And Miles freezes, sort of at the entrance, but Montmoret is able to walk right up to the door, and a speaker over the door clicks on, and a voice from inside says, "Who are you? What do you want?"
I have headphones on. I just kind of look through the door, kind of knock, like put down my glasses, pretending I'm not hearing anything.
I'll buzz the little speaker thing to talk back if that's what you do. And I just go, well, it seems like we have the same question for you. We just want to know what's going on in there.
And the voice from inside says, "I am here on behalf of Lord Velatron Zeruel, the Princess's champion in the First Ward. We have come to ensure the safety of the future of this place." And who said that?
Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I have a delivery.
You have a delivery. And I'd like to interject here. Montmoret, the thing that you pick up with your ability about what here is not what it seems, is that when that voice on the inside claims to be working on behalf of Velatron, they 100% believe it. But at the same time, something doesn't line up. Something's wrong. And you don't think Velatron was lying either. So there's some sort of confusion at hand. That's what's off in this situation. And he said, "You've got... are those cookies?"
Yes, Dutch butter cookies. They're actual cookies too. I open the tin, no sewing kit, and I close it. Yes, I have this. I was supposed to deliver it today. I got the receipt. I'm just here doing my job. You gonna buzz me in, pal?
I need to think. Go back to the street. Wait there. It just,
I would, but I walked all the way here, and I have a really bad jolly horse right now. If I could just lean, if you're gonna let me in, just let me in. I'm sure I could. If I could see, I can see from like right here. There is a foyer with a bench that I could just sit down on and just wait. Is that okay? Like, I am an old, feeble man recovering.
And what's Monterey doing during Miles' monologue?
I think she's just patiently waiting and trying to nod, and like when she when he opens up the cookies and like does the little thing, she goes like cookies, like she's trying to like play into it a little bit. Like she's like, we just want to know what's going on because we have a delivery. Let us inside to sit down. Like she's like, all right, I see what you're doing here, and she's trying to just kind of ham it up with her presence.
She's yes-anding Miles.
Yeah.
Very much
Yeah,
shadowing
okay.
me on the job. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right,
she's shadowing
exactly.
me on the job.
It's my first day. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
The speaker,
Yeah.
the speaker clicks back on, and they say, "I need to talk. I need to talk to my associates. One moment." And like the tone of voice changes, in which there's like some confusion, right? And then it clicks back off,
Yeah.
and then you sort of left there standing. You turned around, and when you turn around, here's what you see. You see Reuben and Vasar down by the street, down by those SUVs. They're not super far away. But all of a sudden, all the doors of the SUVs open in unison.
Ooh.
And out of the SUVs in tactical gear step just a small army of lowborn. And bringing up the rear behind them is Princeps Roland Dawn, his son Raymond Dawn, and Reveal, who all get out at the same time and
Excellent.
sort of walk closely up to the base of the stairs and look up there. And of course, if you look over and look at Velatron, he's just like fuming with her appearance on the scene.
Raymond! Hey! How's it going? Listen, there's been some confusion. I was supposed to bring cookies to the Princepsis, but there's like a situation here. Like, you know that I am the trusted hand of the Princepsis, like incredibly trusted with things, and another thing I'm trusted with is delivering these cookies. Could you help me out here, bud?
Instead of Raymond answering you, Roland answers. And he says, "Ah, yes, I've heard about you. In charge of the Princepsa. What is it, Lord of Cookies and Nipple Inspections?"
Yes, it's exactly what it is. Disagrees with it.
Okay. And then Reveal speaks up
Odd
next,
jobs,
and she
odd
says,
jobs. Mhm.
right, little things. Little
Little
tasks here and there.
Yeah.
And the Reveal speaks next, and she says, "I think we've waited long enough. It's clear what's happening here, isn't it? Lord Velatron is trying to break the confidence in the Princepsa. He makes all these laws. He inspires doubt when all it takes is for her to be happy. And so I have brought Lord Raymond here. We are going to enter the building by force if necessary. We're going to put down these insurgents. And then we're going to come to terms with the Princepsa about the impending marriage. So if the four of you would step aside, we are going to enter."
How did you hear about this?
Oh, word travels fast, dear. I mean, just because I'm not the Princepsa's hand doesn't mean that I'm not privy to the goings-on in this area. I have eyes and ears everywhere.
Do you know?
And there's like an awkward pause in which someone could spend a shard if they wanted, or ask a question, or... Because it is kind of a standoff situation here. So the Dawns plus Reveal want to storm the castle. Velatron's confused. Someone inside the castle is holding the Princepsa hostage, and Miles has a tin of cookies. So...
Well, we've always been the neutral party in this. I think and I'm gonna look over at Mama Ray, and be like, this ain't right. This ain't right, hon. Help me out here. Yeah, my looks can only take me so far. We could, because we're not on anybody's side. We're on our side. So we could just act as a neutral party instead of storming the castle. How's that sound?
So out of character, very quickly, so I'm understanding. We are all standing back at the street. Roland Dawn, Raymond Dawn, and Reveal just walked up, and they
With an
want
army.
to go storm the house, and we are trying to figure out what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think storming the building is a death wish, so maybe we should avoid that and go for trying to do something more diplomatic first. Understanding
And
who
who are you
is
speaking to? You're talking to
just
Miles?
generally
Sorry.
to the group. Yeah, generally to the group, but more directly towards Miles because he asked the question.
Yeah.
We have to figure out who's at the core of pulling all these strings. Once we figure out who the core is, then we can figure out how to best work our way around that situation and get ourselves inside and save the Princessa. But I don't think force and brute naivety is going to solve this problem. And she kind of like averts her eyes towards the three that just kind of walked up and joined in on the conversation when she says, like, I don't want to go in there like that.
Mm-hmm.
How do we all feel?
And they hear the tail end of this conversation. They say, and Roland, the father, played by Ian McShane, says that sometimes force is the only option. But if you would like us to wait, I can give you 10 minutes.
All we should need. And if we can't reach a peaceful solution in 10 minutes, then by all means, trot on
We'll contact you.
And that 10 minutes is a boon to let you decide what to do as a group. And that boon comes courtesy thanks to the 20 retweet gold. And they back off. The soldiers back off towards their cars, and the Dawns and Reveal, they walk off down the street.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes. Let's beep in the speaker.
You need to get inside.
Yeah.
I think I might have a plan for that. Let's see how far Miles can get with the cookie tin first.
Real
thing she
Beep, 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 beep. Finally, yes. Hello. Is this on?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Hi. Listen,
Yes.
I don't have a shirt on and it's really cold and I have to pee. Could I just get into the lounge? Someone can meet me there, like, so I could go to the bathroom. Please. I don't want to pee
All right,
here on the steps. Coming to that.
Let's see.
A roll?
Okay, so if you want to roll,
Yeah.
no matter what other you're using, you're going to get +1 for using the cookies.
All right, cool.
So you get 1
Okay.
automatic die increase if you finish butter
Yeah.
cookies.
Yeah. I would also say that I am being both creative in my approach, I am being cunning in my approach, and I am being deceptive in my approach. Because I don't have to be.
Sounds good. So that's 1d10
Okay.
and 2d8s.
Let's do this. All right. Come on, guys. Love me. No. It doesn't love me. I got a 4, a 2, and a 3.
Okay. So the voice comes back on and sort of looks you over and says,
The voice looks me over.
"Is this on?" Yeah, the camera goes,
Yeah.
and the voice over the intercom goes, "Is this working? Can you hear me?"
Yeah.
All right. We don't want any cookies. And it sort of clicks off. Very rudely.
Is the camera still
May I
on?
try?
Yeah, it is.
One
What
second.
you do?
Just let me do 1 second. If that's the case, I'm gonna open the tin, and I'm just gonna
Yeah.
stare right into the camera and just start eating cookies as a distraction for everyone else. Like,
Got it. Absolutely. Miles starts going to town on cookies. Mon.
I'm going to try to beep at the intercom again to get the voice to come through. So I'm going to
What?
beep at it.
It says.
And I would once again like to spend a shard to make someone think fondly about submitting to me. And I would like to say, as Miles is eating those cookies, I would like to say, now, do you see the fella behind me eating these cookies? Wouldn't it be so
Yes.
nice you had a cookie yourself? Don't you want one of these cookies? Don't you want us to come inside and share with you?
so
Through
buttery.
through this distorted loudspeaker, you hear other voices, like they seem like they're discouraging the main speaker, and they're trying to say, "No, don't do it. No, don't." And he says, "I do want. No, I want a cookie. Yes." And he says, "All right."
This is so good. This is all I've ever wanted.
I miss you guys so much. The, the voice says, "I'm going to open the door for 10 seconds. Only you four, nobody else."
I link arms with everyone. Like, just
Do you close,
Okay.
you close the cookie tin, right, to keep them fresh?
Yeah.
And
Yep. Put it in my
put
fanny pack.
Put it in the fanny pack. And you hear the door click unlocked. And it's unlocked, so you can open it. Everybody sort of moves into the lobby, which you remember from that place. It has the gift shop. It has that big info desk in the middle. Has benches because Miles is hired, and those big stairs up ahead. And up at the top of those stairs appear a contingent of people, most of whom appear security personnel or guards. And one of them is a man probably in his 60s. He has great, big, bushy gray eyebrows. And he is walking with a walking stick, although it's not apparent whether he does that out of necessity or not. And he's sort of standing there at the top. He's finely dressed in a tailored suit, and he says, "This way, come up here. Let me get a look at you." You sort of make your way forward to the foot of the stairs. And once you reach the foot of the stairs, you realize who this is. You recognize a man named Ragan Shamesh. And he is another one of the lords from this precinct, from the area. Formerly, before he basically retired from that duty, he was in charge of training soldiers and warriors, although he stepped down several years ago. And now he sort of stands there at the top of this stairwell. He's like, "All right, you're just here to deliver cookies?" Go on, speak.
Had about 5.
That's all right. There's
But
like
you
50 of those
you
things.
made me wait outside. So don't worry, I'll refund.
Leave them at the bottom of the stairs and then make your way out.
Oh, no.
I'll send
I'm
some
supposed to
men.
like, give these directly to the princess. Like that was on the
Princess is not-
note. Like that was on like that was like in the specific, like, you know, when you order it on the app and there's specific instructions on it, like that was like the specific instructions was I really need a good rating on this delivery, okay?
And you can't have the Princessa eating floor cookies. That's just not done.
You make a good point. But wait, you're not Cookie Del... You're Miles from the university. I know all of you. And Lady Monterey and Lord Reuben. What is this, a practical joke?
Just because I have a side gig doesn't mean that, like, I can... Just because I'm a lord doesn't mean I can't have a side gig, okay? I'm an entrepreneur, man.
I don't know why you would need to...
It's a bit of amusement.
Lady Star, you're part of this too. I know you. I come to parties at your house.
Occasionally you want to see how the other side lives. And
This
what
is all
better than to
very
be
unusual.
lonely delivery people? I mean...
You are getting in the way of a very important moment. We're here to convince the Princessa to retire so her son can take over.
Well, we could help with that, so couldn't we?
I mean, we were part of implementing the start of this. Like, we can help finish it, right?
I did hear about that. All right, well, hold on. And he turns around and he sort of huddles with all these people, leaving you a split second to speak amongst yourselves if you want. But they're all sort of huddled up, talking about...
guys.
What the heck is going on?
What do we do? I'm following you in this cookie plan. What are we doing?
Oh, you were following me? That is a good idea.
You're the one with the cookies. We got inside because you had the cookies.
Right.
I only made it inside because I made him want the cookies.
Listen, my plan was just to get in here. I expected everyone else to improv on the way in, like, and figure it out once we were inside. I
can only talk to somebody like that like one more time before it becomes like absolutely not available. So we gotta choose that sparingly if we need it. But I mean,
okay.
I can try and help in that vein, convincing people. I'm really good at that.
You need
but
to
I don't
give
know
me
what
a
else
sign.
we should be doing.
Okay, we gotta get to the Princessa. So whatever is going on, she probably needs rescuing.
Okay, I'll turn to Vasar and Ruben. Out of you two, who's sneakiest? Okay. My plan. I can't be detected by anything. So should I be a scout to go ahead if we can get past this man? And then I can kind of like give you a signal if it's clear to go, and then we can try and find where they're holding her.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody else has any sort of way to get information out of people, that might be helpful.
Normally I just ask to see their nipples. I don't think it's gonna work this time.
You might be able to scare our way inside.
I think Ruben said something there too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have ways of getting information. I don't have very good ways of being sneaky per se. But if need be, I can cause a distraction for the rest of you.
We don't want really big distractions, though, unless you want to do one big main distraction to get everybody pulled in one location, and the rest of us can try and run the opposite direction to try and find where she is, if that is a plan worthy of entertaining. But I also don't want to put you in the limelight of that.
That might be difficult.
So what is everyone comfortable doing?
I could create a very big distraction.
Distraction to you?
So you think about 5 of those 10 minutes have passed. And you're sort of left there with that question hanging in the air as Lord Shemesh turns around and says, "Okay, now explain to me again. We're here working on behalf of Lord Velatron, and you're here to disrupt What do you want? You want to deliver cookies?
Yo, we're just here to help, like, not have the castle stormed, okay? So that's what we're here for. Like, there's an army outside, and they're gonna blow this place up. They're gonna kill you, okay?
Why would they do so? Why would they do that when they have the interests of Bridgewood
You
Boulevard
got, like,
in mind?
4 minutes to let us go up there and talk to the princesses. Come here, I'll show you. And I want to, like, just put my arm around his shoulder if I have to float up slightly to, like, and just, like, guide him over, like, to the window with all of the SUVs. And, you know, hopefully this will, like, my friends.
Gotcha.
I do want to slip away if possible as this happens.
Yeah.
Okay, what is Monterey doing?
Is there anyone else, like any other guardsmen or people that seem to be roaming around besides this one person in any direction, which is beyond them? So if I'm looking past them, what do I see?
They're at the top of the stairs, and other than that, you don't see anyone else. It seems like they came out of that same room where you had the fancy quiet dinner.
Okay.
And
I would
there seems to be some motion in there. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to slink in to that room if possible, and just being as quiet and nimble as humanly or inhumanly possible.
Okay. Are we using? Is this still that shard ability? No, because that was like a technology thing, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so this is just.
But yes. So it's just a special rule. You can't be registered by any camera, alarm, or other electronic or mystical devices unless you choose so. So I'm hoping that if they have somebody watching cameras or whatever might be around, that I just don't get picked up on them.
Okay, that's cool. And where are you heading? You want to get into the ballroom, that big fancy room?
Yeah, that fancy dinner room. If it looks like there's people in there, I just kind of want to open up and peek inside.
Okay. So you sort of creep your way up as Miles walks up his arm around Lord Shim. All of the guards, all like hands on weapons, right? They're like making sure he's not doing anything. And while they're distracted, Mon, give me a roll for how you can be here and what kind of traits you want to apply to it.
Okay, so I have clever hunter. I also have searching and investigation. So I'd say I could add those potentially. But I think those are the only 3 I have, because everything else doesn't make sense.
No, I think investigation works. I think that searching, because you're trying to get the lay of land, and clever hunter works. Yeah, so let's do 3d8 and give me a roll and see how it goes.
Okay, I got 2 successes. I got a 5, a 7, but I also got trouble. Got a 1.
All right, so mark that on your trouble counter. And where are you on your trouble counter, your tracker?
Mark 3.
Okay, so 1 more and your trouble kicks in, unless you use it before then of your own volition. Okay. Okay, so that was 2 successes, you said 2?
Yes.
2?
5 and a 7.
2. 7. Okay, so you sneak past that first wave of guards, and as you enter the room, you can quickly ascertain what's going on. Is that all of these men and women, soldiers, are searching high and low, looking for something, and they're being barked orders about, like, no, find it, she has to be here somewhere, and so on and so forth. And as soon as you enter this acoustically damp room, which is made this way for dinner parties, you're able to sneak forward without any problem. But the complication here, because you only had 2 successes instead of 3, is that you don't see anything of benefit past that. You don't see the Princessa.
when I hear them talking about like finding something, do I have an understanding or an inkling what that something could be? Does anybody say something that could give it
Say her.
away? They say her.
They do say
They're
where it find her. Yeah, and they're like looking. They're not looking at the tables. They're not looking at the furniture. They're looking at the walls. Sort of, they'll walk every few feet and like knock on the walls and and yeah.
I will dip out of the room and slowly make my way back to the group.
Mm-hmm.
I will tap Reuben on the shoulder. They're looking for her in the walls.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I would like to spend a shard of my own.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the question, what breach is there in their defenses, and I'm going to ask that in reference to the walls themselves to see if I can also find one in the room we're currently in.
I love it. So specifically, you're asking what breach is there in the Princessa's defenses, and that she's using these walls as defenses.
Yep.
Okay. So you sort of walk up there, and they don't stop you because they're still distracted by Miles giving a tour, and you sort of poke your head into the ballroom, and you can see that up behind the dais, there appears to be some sort of on that table she was sitting at the dinner party, that long table. There's some sort of switch underneath it. So that's the breach we're talking about here. That's probably what triggers the escape route for the Princessa in times like this.
Okay. And do I know if I hit that, it's gonna alarm everyone else who's looking for her, or is it more of it activates the nearest one?
It's a very big room. There's only about a dozen armed people in here. They're concentrating on the walls, so it's not impossible. But I mean, you walk up through that room, it's a risk.
All right. So I'm going to go back to Monmarai and Vasar as well, since Miles is still distracting everyone else. I'm going to go up to him. I'm going to say, "There's a switch back over there, but it would be too risky to open now. But I get the feeling that she got out of here as soon as she possibly could."
So Ruben relays that to you. Meanwhile, let's flash over to Miles here. Miles, you are down at the bottom of the stairs with Lord Ragan Shemesh, and you're showing him everything that's outside. What are you two talking about?
I'm just talking about things that are gonna Yeah, I am mostly talking. I'm telling him the truth, essentially. Like, this can't go down like this. It is bad for everyone if it goes down like this. And we are running out of time. We have got to work together and facilitate a conversation.
And Shemesh looks at you and he says, "I'll have a conversation with you, Miles. You are reasonable. I will not, however, parley with the Dawn family and their abusive tendencies and their violent war criminal behavior." And he like points out, and as he's pointing out like towards all the soldiers, you see them running up the stairs with like battering rams in their hands.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of get between like him and the door, like my back towards the door. Mm-hmm. You see, it doesn't have to be violent if you do parlay.
It's not a question of violence, Miles. I don't want to speak to the Dawn family because they're assholes.
Yeah, you know, Raymond's not such a bad guy, and he has excellent tips, but listen. Here's the problem I have. Our boy out there,
Yes?
one that you say that's working for you, like
Beltron,
the
Lord
actual
Beltron.
guy,
Yes,
Lord
well, here on
Bellatron,
his
yes,
orders.
our Decepticon. He is outside very confused because he did not organize this. He's telling us that.
That doesn't make any sense. This order came directly from,
It doesn't
and
make
like
any
as
sense, and that's why we need to
like in
talk.
the middle of the sentence, you hear glass shattering as the soldiers are like busting the doors down and storming the castle.
Come on, give me something here. And I'm looking over at Visara, and I'm just like, give me something here. Like, listen, buddy, you gotta do something, or it's gonna get really ugly. Just let everybody inside nicely, and they don't have to go upstairs. You just in the foyer. I have cookies, and we can share them.
Right. He turns tail and he runs back towards the stairs, shouts up at his security force and says, "Guards, we're being invaded!" And he's like waving his cane, his walking stick around like a conductor. And they appear like they're going to throw down in some sort of battle. And most of you are right in the middle of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna look. Is there a chandelier?
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna look over
There
at Vasir
definitely
as
is.
like, can you just lend me a hand and toss me up there so that I'm up there and not down here, please?
Who are you asking for that?
Yes, I assume dragons are very strong.
What
Okay.
you want?
I don't want to be here anymore.
How
I want to
about
be.
you three?
You need to toss me. Toss me. Throw me.
I'm not tossing you, darling. You three, go in that dining room. I'll distract these guys, all right? You
Yes.
find a Princessa. And Reddit, give her this letter. And I give him the letter that I taped together.
I'm gonna lean into Vasir. I'm gonna open the cookie jar. I'd be like, take a few.
There's always
Close
time for
it.
cookies.
And then let's go.
Okay. Ruben, Monterey, and Miles hightail it towards the ballroom. Vasar, what happens next?
I would like to spend a shard to let the beast free.
Okay, and what does that mean?
That means I get to act in my true dragon form and mostly don't give in to the urge for destruction.
Did you add mostly, or is mostly right in there? Did they write the word mostly?
It's in there. They put mostly. Yep.
Okay.
Mostly.
What does Vasar look like in her true dragon form?
A beautiful bronze dragon. Huge curling horns.
Excellent. And so I imagine she is much larger than a human form. So she sort of expands from that circular information desk and perches above it. And all of the forces, those guards at the top of the stairs, those guards storming the front doors, they all like slide to a halt as Vasar lets out this enormous roar. And that's where we'll cut away, because I want to know what happens inside the ballroom. As you three are running into the ballroom, the other guards are running out because the front is being stormed.
Where's the switch? What did you find? Towards Ruben.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over and flip whatever switch I found earlier to open the doors.
So you run up to that table at the front of the room, and you feel underneath there's a kind of like a doorbell-sized button. And you buzz it, and off in some obscure corner of the room, you see a small crack of light as a panel swings open, leading to a narrow hallway.
Alright. I'll lead the charge in. You two stay behind me. If you see me go down, run.
Okay.
Before we go, are there any knives or silverware on the table?
There is a butcher knife, for some reason, right there on
Grab
the table.
butcher knife just in case.
There's also a butter knife.
Damn.
Does anyone want the butter
I'm
knife?
gonna grab the butter knife.
I was just gonna say, I think I would take it and hand it out to Miles.
Mm-hmm.
This could make somebody's balls very unhappy, so thank you.
And you bust down. This is like it's a very narrow passage, so you're a single file. It appears to be running behind the walls, and it ends in a stairwell, and it's stone inside these walls, and so there are echoes, and the sounds that you can make out that are coming from up ahead are sounds of crying and shouting from several parties. They appear to be coming from a room at the top of the stairs. In the Princess Tower, I guess. The Princess Tower. So you go up the stairs, and you find yourselves at a door, the sounds coming from within. Meanwhile, we cut back to Visar. Visar, describe to me some destruction. What's going on out there? Tell me how it works.
Oh, goodness. I'm basically just stare them all down and tell them, don't even think about moving.
Nice.
Unless
like that.
you
Now,
are leaving this building quietly and calmly.
Okay, let's have a roll for this. Let's see how Visar intimidates. Are you addressing this to everyone present? Both
Yep.
opposing forces?
I want
Okay.
everyone out. This is enough of this
All right.
crap.
Okay, so let's see what you've got, what choice you have to sort of drag down these people.
I have my powerful glare, my
There's
regal draconic form,
That's two.
collected fighter.
Mm-hmm. I see you also have a shard that was donated, I think, left over maybe from last week.
Yes.
Up there in the corner, if you want to use that. That's 4.
Yes.
Anything else?
Maybe my awareness, being aware of where everybody is and how their demeanor is.
I like it. So that's 5. And if that's all, we're going to... So that's 1d10 and 2d8.
Oh, I got a 10, 8,
Yeah.
and a 3.
Okay, so 2 successes. So perched on top of this desk, and I love picturing this where the front of the desk in large letters are written the word information, right? And this is like you're going to leave. And almost all of them make out, except for one last person working for the Dawn family who pulls out a gun and starts firing at you. And so just like in this sort of enraged panic, he pulls out a sidearm and just starts pow, pow, pow. And he misses the first few shots. And Vasar, I would imagine, maybe takes off into flight and sort of circles the room above. And we can decide, think about what she's going to do next, because we're going to jump back to the rest of the group. Okay? And we've got Miles Montmirail. Ruben, you're standing outside this room. You can hear the Princessa crying inside, and then raised voices, which you recognize as the father and son head of the Dawn family, as well as Ereviel.
Is the door because
It appears to be closed.
gonna kick that bad boy open unless instructed otherwise.
Okay. It's locked and it's sturdy. So let's make a roll. Let's see how well that goes. What does Ruben have that would allow him to kick a door down?
I have fearsome from being an executioner. I have unmoved by intimidation.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have tireless. I don't know if that would help, but
Yeah, those are all good.
and I have a strong will as well.
Okay. I'm going to say you can use those, but then also it's a locked metal door. So we'll also give it sort of -2 as an advantage. So we're going to do, this is going to be tough, so we're going to do 2d8 and 1d6.
All right. Let's find out. Well, I got 1 on the d8, on the first d8.
Oof, that's trouble.
That's going to be another 1 on the d8 again, and then a 5 on the d6. So,
2 ones.
I kicked
Ruben,
that
where
door
is your
and then
trouble?
immediately grabbed my foot. That was a stupid idea. Why did nobody stop me?
You were
I
having
need
a
to
moment.
ask. In this moment,
I believed
Ruben,
in you.
where is your trouble tracker at?
Let's see here. Well, with that additional +2, my trouble tracker is now going to be I have a 4 in. I have a full 4 in trouble now with that +2.
Full 4 of trouble, which means that one of your 3 specific troubles is going to come into play. And in fact, I think that it's going to come into play quite quickly as you succeed in cracking the door just a little bit. But then just as that happens, the door swings open, and Roland Dawn is there standing on the other side and pulls a gun and fires 3 shots into your stomach as he breaches your defenses.
Ow.
So he kicks the door swings open, and crack, 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 as Ruben slumps over with 3 bullets inside him. And Dawn raises his gun and points it at all 3 of you. And you can see behind him, the Princessa is there. It appears to be some sort of private quarters of hers. She is sitting down on a couch, sobbing her eyes out, as Raymond, Dawn, and Ereviel stand on either side of her. And Roland Dawn says, "This could have been a lot easier if you had minded your business and done what we'd asked you to do."
I'm gonna catch my boy. Like, I'm gonna support my bleeding friend first. Cause
If I see
you okay, man?
Miles, go ahead.
Asking Ruben
I was
if
just
he's
gonna.
okay. Mhm.
Ruben's response is just that his mouth and nose just start smoking.
Mm.
Uh,
You can smell brimstone and sulfur as the smoke comes out of Ruben's almost like pores.
Can I spend a shard to ask a question here?
Yes, you
Or
can.
maybe I don't need to do it real quick, like, because I might be just be confused out of character late. How did Roland and Raymond get in here?
Great. Okay, I like that. So as you sort of hold Ruben in his arms, you see that on the other side of the room, another one of those open panels. So if you had to guess,
Ooh.
you'd guess Reveal knew about a different way into this room. And when they left that
Okay.
scene and went off down the street, that's where they were going. And so
Right.
Roland is standing over you, and a Reveal approaches you and says, "I'm really sorry it had to come to this, but if you're willing to step down, we can get your friend medical attention that he needs. And, well, we can start planning a wedding. The Princessa has agreed that if we are to let her go from this place, she'll marry Raymond. And, well, that's the end of our story, isn't
So
it?"
you have her captive. You're blackmailing her into a marriage.
We prefer to think of it as advanced negotiation tactics.
You're blackmailing her into a marriage. You do not get any cookies. What's her face in here? The previous ward?
The Princessa? Oh,
Not the
a Reveal?
Princessa.
Yeah, she's the one.
A reveal.
Yeah, a Reveal. She's the one speaking to you.
A
And
reveal
she's the
speaking.
one who
I
says,
thought it was Roland for a second. Yeah.
I'm not doing voices. She
Okay.
says, that's what were her words. Yeah, that this is what they're doing here, is to convince Sepsa to marry Raymond, and they'll get her out of this building, safe from these people who apparently Velatron set in to kidnap her.
I thought you wanted her to get married for her happiness, lady. Like this. Does she look happy to you?
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? She's never happy. The Princessa deserves
She might be if
happiness,
people stop making decisions for her. If people stop manipulating shit behind her back, like her trusted advisor and her son. She's a grown woman. She can make her own decisions. People stop thrusting things she doesn't want in her face. Come on. I'm gonna hold my hand out to the Sepsa.
I'd like a
What do
roll
you want?
here.
Yeah.
I'd like a roll from Miles.
All right.
+1 for withholding cookies.
Yeah.
And then what else would you add to be convincing this place? You're protective.
I am very protective. Like I'm in big energy right now. Like I'm
You are
not
being
really
Danny
being
Miles.
creative or cunning or deceptive. Like this is a very genuine thing for Miles. So so 2d8s and a d6, I'm assuming.
I think that's it. Yeah. But
Yeah.
you got the
Okay, that's fine.
2d8s and 1
Down.
d6. Yeah.
I'm very down because that's a 5 on the d8, both 5s on the d8s, and a 6 on the d6.
That's 3 successes.
Yeah.
And so
So
that was clutch.
do it. Mm-hmm.
And you sort of make this sort of plea to common sense, and a Reveal, she's fuming, right? She says, how dare you accuse me of not caring for the greater good? Look at this place. If we had Velatron in charge, we would get awful rules like the ones he created all the time. And the Princess's happiness is always paramount to me, but Lord Raymond, and then Princessa says,
Right.
no! And she cuts him off. And she like stands up and she says, no, this, she says, Lord Miles is right. This is my decision to be, not yours, a reveal. And at that point, Raymond sort of turns back towards the Princessa and takes the gun away, and it sort of drops down to his side as he's listening. And she says, oh, I can decide what's best, and if that means retiring and letting Velatron be in charge, well, maybe I can do that. And she starts to wane a little bit, but she seems to be on your side, Miles. She's listening to you, and probably to all of you. Let's go back to the lobby, because there's a dragon fighting a dude with a gun. Ratsara, what do you do here?
I am going to fly down to him and either eat him or just claw him to death. One of the two. Nice. You don't do that to me.
It's a roll.
Nope.
This is a roll. It's a standoff. This guy has a gun. What wins in a fight with gun versus dragon? And so we're going to find out right now. What do you have? What traits do you have that would apply to what's going on?
Collected fighter. The legacy of chaos.
There you go. That's one. That's two.
And my draconic form. That might help.
Yep. Sure. Yep. 2 fighters. Your strength is awareness. Let's say that. Let's say it's +4 here. So right. That is 1d10 and 2d8.
D10, 2 d8. 8. 10. Okay, an 8. Ooh, on 5, a 2, and a 3. So only one success. Yeah.
Only one success. So with one success, you fly down close, and you're able to snatch him up with your jaws. And just as you bite down, you hear from within your dragon maw, bang, bang, and you feel this burning inside your throat and start to lose consciousness and black out. Now, the Princessa seems to be on your side here. But the Dawns and a reveal are not going anywhere, it seems. So she says, yes, I'll retire if that's what's best for the province, but if I'm going to it'll be to someone I choose. And then there's sort of a standoff as everyone's sort of standing around. And Ruben's dying.
Yeah. Princessa, it's not even about standing down or getting married or stepping down. What is going to make you happy? What do you want?
And her eyes get a little bit distant. She says, I can't have what I want. I want my husband back. Even if he did come from...
What would he...
And she sort of gestures at the Dawn family.
What would he want for you?
He always said that he wanted me to... I don't know, be the kind of person he looked up to, because that was what our love was like. That he admired me more than... But I don't know if I can be that person anymore.
I'm gonna look over at Montmirail and kind of motion for her to come take Reuben from me.
I will kind of take over taking care of Ruben. I will nonchalantly, but very much letting Miles know, hey, I have a large butcher knife. Should you need this? I'm going to put the knife down on the ground because I'm holding a large butcher knife. I will tend to Ruben and kind of prop him up a little bit, make sure that he's comfortable.
And I'm
as comfortable
going
as
to,
can be.
like, with my hands up, my hand up because I still have a tin of cookies, like, you know, just showing that I am not armed. The butter knife is in the fanny pack. I'm gonna, like, approach the Precepsa, and I want to take off my headphones and put them on her head and put Iris on for her so that she can just feel those emotions.
Okay. And so we have this long, drawn-out shot accompanied by the Goo Goo Dolls, where we have flashing scenes of sort of the scene outside of the museum, where Velatron is trying to get the reins in a situation and calm everybody down. And then we sort of pan inside, and we see Visar now in her humanoid form, breathing but laboriously on the ground, bleeding out. Goo Goo Dolls, Goo Goo Dolls. And we sort of pan over, and we see this back room, and we see the Princessa's eyes, which are normally welling up with tears, and she's listening to this music. And she's wearing a necklace that was made by the same person who made her engagement ring. And she like reaches her hands up and she dramatically tears it off of her neck and throws it at the Dawns and says, "You are not welcome here." And they're not sure what to do. And so finally, after what seems like a long time, they shuffle out of the room one by one, back down that back entrance they had. And you're left alone there with the Princessa and the three of you, one of whom is slipping out of consciousness as this happens.
I immediately start moving. Yes?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I immediately start like trying to get Ruben somewhat to like a position where I can help him down the stairs, and trying to put pressure on his wounds at the same time. I think Montmirail probably wearing some sort of jacket or something, and now she just said, screw it, and is like using it to like shove up against his butt, making him like hold it as she's trying to like prop him up.
I will give you her.
You takes off the fur coat?
He takes off the fur coat to give to help with Reuben's bleeding.
Here's the most important part. As we see Miles take off his fur coat, how are his nipples?
Yo, he's got like he got tiny.
Who inspects the
nipples. Let's be
inspector?
legit here.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got some pretty tiny. They're brown. They're little raisins. Like they're, but you know, you also see like his his angel wings essentially branded into his body,
Yeah.
like down his arm and his arms and his back as well. So,
And so I think the last thing we see is Miles, like from like a top-down shot, and seeing those branded angel wings as he and Monroe and over Ruben, trying to put pressure on the wounds and stop him from bleeding. And I think that's where we fade out. A few days go past. Visar and Ruben both recover from their wounds, but probably due in no small part to their supernatural stamina and health, and also thanks to the considerable medical care funded by the Princessa. And so they spend time recovering, and I think that's where we see the four of you next. Is that really Ruben, who had it worse, takes a longer time to recover from his wounds. Visar, you're up and moving around. Something about your shape-shifting ability lessened the impact of your of those gunshots. But the three of you are visiting Ruben inside his room in the hospital. I brought him news that once the Princessa was back outside, she basically gave Velatron a dressing down for really interfering in a way that wasn't good for anyone and trying to push her out of power. Although the question still sort of hangs in the air of, well, you know, if Velatron stays on as her ward and as her champion, someday he will inherit the rule over the province. So that might be a question for a later time. But the four of you are sort of there reflecting on everything that happened and everything you've been through. What are you talking about? What are your final moments in conversation like at the tail end of this ordeal?
Ruben, I got you a Backstreet Boys poster. It's actually a cloth wall scroll. Like I had it printed and I just roll it out for him and like put it on the wall so that he can look at it.
It's real good. It's real pretty.
Yeah.
You found out there's 5 of them. You didn't know that before.
Mm-hmm. These two, Brian and Kevin, they're cousins. Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Am I like lying in a bed or am I like upright?
You're lying
somewhere?
in a hospital bed. You're definitely lying in a
what?
hospital bed as Miles teaches you about the Backstreet Boys.
Okay, cool. So I just like look at this poster with such awe. This is a really great gift. I really appreciate this.
Aw,
Thanks.
you're welcome.
How's everything? How's everything been going back at the university? I haven't been able to exactly stop by and check in.
Yeah, let's get a Miles
speaking of,
epilogue
I
here.
brought-
Miles, how's everything going at the university? You get to decide.
So business as usual. Business as usual. That's how like Miles' excursions and adventures he kind of keeps it away from everything. However, he did bring that sponsorship contract for Ruben to sign.
You got me right in my moment of weakness. All right, hand it over. You got a pen?
Of course, pull it out the fanny pack.
What is listed as the name of Ruben's organization on this paperwork? Is it
my
Ruru's
God.
choo-choos?
Oh my God. You're putting me on the spot here. I can't think of a good name. You know what? Yeah, it'll just be Ruben's choo-choos.
Okay. Ruben's choo-choos as a sponsor of the collegiate wrestling team. So Ruben signs his name at the bottom. Miles, how's everything else going? How's these laws that were enacted about who you can love and what love looks like have been rolled back? But does that affect your life at home?
I think I had a conversation with my wife, because despite the fact that we don't do the nasty, we are still incredibly good friends, and we do want to see each other happy. So
You do
despite the
friendly.
law despite the law not being there, I am still consenting to be a married throuple.
Nice. And of course, she does have the option of being married to someone else as well in a multiple partner situation like that. So maybe that's something that you pursue further and go down that way. Is Miles happy?
Yeah, he is. He's his kid is happy. His best friend is happy. He is mostly not sober, and I think he might have found that 2007 soundtrack of Transformers. I think, or he has a lead
I
on
think he
it
may
at the
have.
very least. Yeah.
Or maybe the real 2007 Transformers original motion picture soundtrack is the friends we made along the way.
It's true. Yeah, probably. I think he's friends with Princessa now, so that's good.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, and that's weird.
So I think he really is
basically,
now her official nipple inspector.
yeah,
That was the goal the whole time.
like she has to make title. He has business cards, and basically he makes her mixtapes, and
Absolutely.
it's real good. Yeah, and now it's Monterey's turn to sort of let Ruben know what's been going on with her, and how's she been in these days that have passed since.
I think she's been thriving. I think because things have kind of changed again, she uses the speakeasy, the marriage speakeasy, as just like an extra awesome VIP party room that's super secret and private that she makes so much money off of now because she can just rent it out to private parties.
Yeah.
She's very much, I think at the end of this, she kind of has like a court shift, and she kind of she gets rid of the problematic accountant and Posh, and I think she's currently searching for new people to kind of come in and help her with her court. She's going through a little bit of a transition stage. But most of all, just really happy and elated that things had changed and she was a part of that change, and grew to become friends with people because of it.
I like that too. And I mean, for the sake of your notoriety, we talk about things like house standing and province standing. This whole scenario would have put all of your standings through the roof. And so I guess probably the person who's happy about that might be Visar, because I know that was one of her long goals. And so, Visar, what have these days been like for you? How's Lucian doing? I mean, your parties are probably super popular again.
Oh, definitely, yes. Lucian was just the best nurse a person could have. Doted on my every whim. And this actually helped my core because they had to be more independent because I was bed and healing all the time, that they're starting to get along better together. Not so many disagreements and things, It's weird. Hoping it'll last.
And of course, Ruben, you get regular updates from Caleb about things that are happening. I mean, I'll just go out on a limb here and say that the public transit is a massive success. And due in part to your notoriety, but also because public transit is great. So what else is going on for Ruben? What's his, I mean, other than being laid up in the hospital, what are his reflections on this whole thing?
Let's see. I think his current reflections are he's taken up a hobby. He's doing crochet now since it helps pass the time. And it also gets him a little more relaxed than he used to. Does
he keep his crochet supplies in a tin where the cookies used to be?
Do you even have to ask? He absolutely does.
I guess I don't know.
Where else?
Want to hear you
Where
say.
else do you put sewing and crochet supplies if not a tin of butter cookies? Aside from that, I think after he finally does get an official release from the hospital, he goes back to maintaining the whole transit system, and he helps to better keep his court more in line. I think that's the biggest leap forward they've taken, is that they now don't argue as much as they used to. It's,
I like that. So you all share these updates with one another, and I think all of you sort of face the future knowing that although you become closer as friends, you're still independent lords and ladies inside a system that values climbing social ladders and, being ambitious for whatever that means. And so you realize you might not see each other quite so much, but it doesn't lessen the value that you put on the time that you spent together, of what you accomplished, as a reminder that although things seem like they're fine going on all around you, there's a reminder that just outside your door, the world is ending. And maybe that's a story for next time. What happens when the forces of the apocalypse finally break through? And so I think that's a good place to end. That's where we'll shut it down, bring an end to our Defiant campaign. And I want to say thanks one more time to this amazing cast. I give big snaps to everybody here. Snap, 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 for being so terrific and trying out this new season, which was a whole lot of fun. I want to thank one of our sponsors, our friends at Defiant, primarily, first and foremost, for making this game. Also, Snowhaven, Zweihander, iHunt, Axon Punk, and Modifius. So thanks so much for providing us the chance to play these games for all of you. Thanks to everyone in chat for sticking with us. Thank you for retweeting and subbing. If you've made it all this way on YouTube and you've watched the whole series, please share it with people, subscribe, give us a comment down below, whatever you can. It would be really terrific. Don't forget to join our Discord servers. So Encounter Roleplay has a great community of folks who like to get together and talk about stuff like this. I want to turn the spotlight onto our players, and so we can hear who they are, what they're doing, what's next for them. I want to share something that's stuck with you. For me, it was I'll never the Goo Goo Dolls the same ever again. And but before I wasn't listening to them that much, and now I'll never listen to them the same way. But I wanted to just put that out there as appreciation for everyone here. Let's start with Hull. Hull, where can we find you on the internet? What did you take away? What's going on? Do you have anything else coming up you'd like to promote?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Bubbly Cream Soda up top there. Oh God, the biggest takeaway from this, it's been mentioned before, but I feel like it needs to be reiterated, is that for as much as this game has a lot of themes of political intrigue and subterfuge, the fact that all of us have just been such chaotic, like, wild cards is, and I don't know if this is what the creators of this system were intending for, but you know what?
I'm sure.
For future projects, not really. Just take the rest of this year to relax a bit until the new year comes in, because 2020 is almost over.
2020 is almost over, and some things we are happy to see end. Some things like this campaign we're sad to see end. Some things we're happy to see end, like this year. Let's go up to our Val. Val, I like you so much, and Miles was so terrific, and I'm glad you had a good time. I think. And what's up?
Hi, I had a great time. You all fantastic people. Justin, you did a great job running the game. I had a great time playing with everyone. Things that kind of like stood out to me. The thing that stood out to me the most about this game is we went in thinking that this game was going to be really sexy, and I'm not saying it wasn't sexy, but it was not. It was not like the forefront of it. Like I love political intrigue and stuff like that, and just the way kind of going of how like Hall was saying the chaos that this group is, and how sometimes chaos can be well timed.
Yes.
Well timed chaos. I will say.
I 100% agree with that, and I think you're right. So where can we find you? What do you have coming up? What's going on?
Oh my god! So you see my great, wonderful name that's up there. That is just like I was 14 years old and obsessed with Dragon Rise of Pern at one point. That's where you can find me all over the internet, Twitter and Twitch. I produce TTRPGs for myself and friends, kind of like how you see over here. We are on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and soon to be Fridays. We have Dungeons and Dragons, Dragon Age, The Expanse, Lancer, and Emberwind. So you just come and check out me and my friends on my channels. If you want to get into other spaces like Discord and things like that, just shoot me a DM and I'll shoot you a link. So come hang out, come play. Like, we want to see your faces.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Val. Oh, we have a new cat on stream. The Brick, tell us about your cat and where we can find you and what you and your cat are on.
Hi, say hi. This is Pickle. This
Hi,
is my
Pickle.
stream cat. So he usually sits and screams at me while I play variety games on Twitch. Lately, I've been doing a lot of RP streaming, mainly on a Red Dead Redemption 2 server called Wild RP. I play a really badass girl who's gone softy, so it's been fun. So yeah, you can come check me out at With a Brick. I'm pretty much With a Brick on all social, Twitter and all the such. So come and watch me do things, because I don't know what TTRPG I'm playing next. So if you're interested, go follow me and I'll keep you updated. But this has been a lot of fun. Like Val said, like I'm really kind of excited that like the sexiness wasn't the forefront, but it was still kind of thrown in there where it fit and it was fun. But I loved just how kind of like wholesome we spun everything. That was one of my favorite things in this whole campaign. Like we liked partying, but we partied with consent, and we liked, you know, building trade stations and marriage speakeasies. Like I loved that. I don't even know if we decided on purpose, but it just like became a thing, and I love that we took charge of that. That was really, but everyone's been such a great person to play with. This group was fun. This game was fun, and yeah, I hope our way of playing it kind of shows people that, you know, the system is what you make of it. It's not what it, you know, is always supposed to be on paper. You kind of fit the game to your level. So I enjoyed that the most about playing.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, just to interject, like when I was thinking about campaign, I was like, I don't know if I can be that sexy, and then just like everything we touched, it turns to wholesomeness, and it was and chaos, wholesomeness and chaos, and those two things are very like I love those things in TTRPGs. Is that when stuff like that comes out, when the chaos and the sweetness, and it's great. That's awesome. Thank you. Hey, Cadence, you also have a
Yes,
cat.
dear.
Would you like to tell us about your cat?
Yes, this is Josie. The orange one that bopped in and out is Cosmo. They're annoying and usually only bother me when I'm sitting here at the computer desk. Otherwise, they ignore me most of the day. Yeah, I can be found at Magdalene Bloom on Twitter. The only thing else I have going is a Vampire the Masquerade game on Tuesday evenings at 8 o'clock, I think, Central, on Party Wipe Games. That's pretty fun. And strange, I play a vampire named Lucian, so
That's sweet.
I got that name still there. And as for this game, I echo what everybody else said. It's just amazing system that you think is going to be one way but goes another. And if I may get political, it proves that demons and angels and deities and dragons, if they come together, so can people of all
There
kinds.
you go. I like it. And you all did work together. One of my takeaways, one thing I really appreciated about this was the different dynamics. I loved scenes like between Ruben and Miles, who were just seemed personality-wise to be very, very different. And but that's true across all these lines between characters, that everybody brought something different and every character brought something different, and it really did a whole lot of fun. And it's a fun system. I encourage you to check out. I'm Doc Rimbo, right here, there. And let's see, I don't have anything going on right now other than I'll eventually get back to streaming on Wild RP just like Ray, and I'll see you somewhere as an imaginary cowboy or something like that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of time off of TTRPGs, and then hopefully in the New Year's get back to playing some more, or maybe running again. We'll see what happens. But we want to give one last shout out, huge thanks to all of you in chat and everybody who came around to watch every week. Colin and Lydia for checking and for being wonderful, and everybody at Encounter Roleplay and all that. So thank you everyone, and thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon. Bye.